Man, I like those kicks.
Yeah, I like those kicks.
Yeah.
Look at us. Show your shoes.
I mean, I like those better, man.
This is a birthday present for my kids.
That's awesome.
Turn 45 and you finally get some things that you want for your kids.
Yeah.
At least when they're grown. All right, let's get into this. What is up, everybody? It's Terry, Nashville Fit Magazine, and today we are up in Hendersonville, and I'm here with my good friend Cory Caruthers. Hi, Cory.
Hey, Terry. How are you?
Where are we?
We're at our office in Hendersonville, our men's health clinic.
Yeah, this is a pretty sweet place, and you guys just opened right before Christmas, right?
We opened, let's see.
Before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we opened mid-October.
Okay.
So really kind of a soft opening October, open to the public in November. So we're kind of in our third month.
Well, before we talk about what you guys do here at Game Day, I want to go back a little bit and let's learn about Cory. So you're not from Nashville, you're from Texas, right? Mm-hmm. So give me a little bit of history. What got, how did you get here? Like what led you in your professional life from doing what you were doing before Game Day to where you're at now? Give me a little.
Yeah. So you're right. I live in Austin.
Yeah.
My background is I really spent the majority of my career in the software space.
Okay.
Which is a far cry from what we're doing here today.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So, but it was one of those things. Like worked at a few startups, right? Managed a bunch of large teams as part of that process, and kind of the right place, right time, right, and did pretty good on a couple of sellouts, right, and took an exit package, and so for the first time since my professional career, there was a point where for 6 months, like I wasn't working, right, and during that time, I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to go back into the workforce, like I want to do something I'm passionate about.
Sure.
Right. And it was funny. I've never asked myself, like, what are you truly passionate about? Right. Like you just, everyone has their hobbies. Mm-hmm. You've got your kids and your wife and all the things that sort of come with life. But like, I actually didn't have an answer to that. Right. And so as I sat there trying to figure out what am I actually passionate about? It took me like about 6 months to figure that out.
Yeah.
Right. And so and it was sort of one of those things where I had to actually sit and soul search and go, okay, well, when I have free time, like what do I do, right? Like, okay, well, I go work out and I go to the gym and I go do something athletic. And when I'm laying in bed and I'm on my phone, like, what am I looking at, right? And it's like I'm looking at usually health-related stuff. And so personally, like I'd been involved in a number of just casual, like sort of health initiatives and things like that over the course of my lifetime. And so the light bulb went off for me. It was like, man, if I'm going to get back into the workforce and I'm going to do something I'm passionate about. And I realized like I'm really passionate about the aspect of men taking control of their health and making it a priority. And so I went down all these different paths and then kind of stumbled across Game Day just randomly. And I was like, wait a minute, like this sort of fits the mold of what I'm looking to do. And then I kind of, as I dug in further and further, I realized like, man, this is really a great business and a business that I can be passionate about. So that's kind of how it fell into place. And
there's a lot of really cool stuff there to unpack. Like just in the idea of, outside of business, it is kind of crazy that I feel like we grow up and we get spun into the world of just finding an occupation that we can, last in, or that we are skilled at, and we hone in on those skills, and kind of time flies by, and before you take the inventory of what actually is my motivation or my driver.
Right. That's actually a great way to put it, because it sort of was like you kind of just fall into a career.
Right.
And then you're like, all right, well, I just got to get the bills paid, right? And then you end up working in a profession that you're not necessarily passionate about, but maybe you're good at it, or you enjoy it, but it's not something that, if you had the choice, maybe you wouldn't be doing that, right? And that's sort of kind of where I landed. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a thing that we get lost in as men. We're really just trying to provide. Right, we're trying to lead our household well. We're trying to take care of our health so that we can continue to do those things. Mm-hmm. And thinking about our passions and our pursuits sometimes takes fifth place, sixth place to providing for our family and taking care of our wives and being good at our job. So kudos to you on that. Hopefully that's a takeaway for some of you guys watching this video. Just kind of sit and dream a little, And I love that passion, snowballed into this, and now you're here at Game Day. Tell everybody a little bit about what Game Day does for men in general.
Sure. Yeah. So we're a men's health focused clinic, right? So the things that our number one goal is just our tagline would be, we just want guys to feel their best.
Yeah.
Right. We want to get guys back in the game. Our focus first and foremost is on getting guys just feeling good.
Sure.
Right. And one of the simplest way to do that is for guys to come in. We test their hormones. Take a look at a number of different hormone levels, and then based upon that, we can give you a quick answer at whether or not that's a culprit, right? One piece to a larger puzzle as to how you're feeling, right? And when most guys have a low testosterone level, right, they'll typically find themselves with some level of fatigue, some level of lack of mental clarity, right? Lack of motivation. Oftentimes, it's that feeling of, like, hey, I need to get into the gym, but you know what, I'll just do it tomorrow. Like
Sure.
that kind of, and so
Procrastinating a little bit.
Yep. And so, and then along with that, right, typically comes kind of the things that we all experience as we age, right? It's just a little bit harder to lose weight, right, as we get older. You're in the gym, you're doing all the things you think you should be doing that you did do when you were in your 20s, but they're just not working as effectively, right?
Sure.
So a lot of guys will come in, we'll focus on that, but then we have a whole slew of other things, right? We can get into peptides to supplement on top of hormone therapy. There's sexual performance, like ED challenges a lot of guys deal with as they get older, vitamin deficiencies. So generally, we're just going to look at the overall health of guys and kind of help them get to a point where they feel like they're performing their best, whether it be at work, in the gym, at home, just taking care of the wife and the kids, all the things that just come with being a good rounded, man.
Right. Yeah. I think what you're saying there is really, really awesome. I think that a lot of it will get in this day and time, like this era of hormone replacement. It just feels like it's being pushed on us. What you guys do here that's so much different is you're taking a blood panel and you're looking for the dots that aren't connecting.
Right.
And I think that's the powerful thing and you do it same day. So it might be TRT, but it could be just vitamin replacement. Like you could be missing something in that way, or with peptides. I think that's a really powerful thing that you don't hear a lot of when it comes to clinics for men. Like you guys are really worried and equipped at handling all of men's health in that sense, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think like really our mission is just to make guys aware, right? It's that education component. And so you hit on this, is like we'll do an initial hormone panel, which basically just includes your testosterone, prostate levels, red blood cell count. We'll do all that for free, right? So the initial consult is you get a free blood lab in our in-house lab. We get the results same day, and then the consult that comes along with that to help you understand the results is completely free. And like the number of guys that come in that are, where we have the conversation, like we'll say like, man, your hormone levels are great, right? Like, I know you came in here feeling a certain way, but like the problem is not your testosterone, right?
Yeah.
In this case, your testosterone's great. We can send off for some additional blood work if there still are concerns after our conversation. But at the end of the day, like we just want to educate you where your levels are. So if you are, feeling lethargic or fatigued or, whatever, it may not be a hormone thing. So we don't want to, we definitely don't want to just like put guys on a program when it's not necessary.
Well, right, and that's what I'm alluding to, and I think that's the difference. Is you have a whole bunch of tools in your toolbox.
Sure.
And you can't. I'm a huge proponent of you can't help people that you don't know, and the panel is helping you know that person and that individual, and you're able to reach into the old toolbox, as it were.
That's a great way to put it.
And you guys have a bunch of resources in order to help those folks out. What have been some of the cool stories that you've heard with you guys that you've helped out? I know it's probably, for some guys, it could be a little bit of a relief to come in here and know that, I actually am operating at a different level. Maybe it's my nutrition, or maybe it's my sleep, maybe it's my stress. And they could leave here knowing. But what about some of the guys that you've been able to help? What are some cool stories that maybe you can share?
Yeah.
Anything come to the top of your brain?
I'd say and that's when we were talking about, to circle back to what we were saying earlier about kind of having passion for what you do. this for me has been amazing because it's the first time I've worked in a profession where like guys will come in and say, "You literally changed my life," right? And like in my 25 years of working in the software industry, no one ever told me that.
That's true.
You know,
yeah.
so like that has been phenomenal. You know, and for the most part, it's typically the guys that come in who, you know, they've got 2 or 3 kids. Maybe they run a business or they've got a job and they're working, you know, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. They try to work out, right? They're trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle. But even through all that, right, like you're still dealing with like a 15, you know, 20-hour day sometimes, right? And so guys will come in and they're just like, man, like, I'm just tired. You know what I mean? Like, and I should be tired, right? Because I do all these different things, and right. And so the biggest success stories that I like to hear are the guys that are doing all that come in, and I sort of have the conversation with them where I help them understand, like, yeah, you're doing a lot, but like, if you're optimized from a health standpoint, you're actually not going to be that tired, right? Like, you're going to do all these things, you're going to get a good night's sleep, and you're going to wake up and you're still going to feel great. And if you're not doing that, then come in here and let's have a talk, right? And so those guys come in and they'll come back after, you know, 4 to 6 weeks, and they're just like, man, I had no idea that I felt as bad as I did, right? Until now I feel good, now that you guys have helped me optimize my levels and get me on a program that sort of is sustainable. Like, I didn't know that I could feel this good.
Yeah, and the human body is a very complex but very amazing thing in the sense that it knows how to operate. It can maintain operation at a certain level. Like, we see this in fitness all the time, and I'm sure some of the trainers out there still do, is that you can have an injury or a nagging pain that you just become okay with.
Right.
And you move through it, and you're compensating, and your body is all whacked out, but you've realized, you've come to the way, like, be able to deal with it and move throughout your day, and you found ways to, you know, work with that, you know, injury or immobility in that sense. And then it's not until it's unlocked you really realize how bad it was. At that point, you're now stronger.
Right.
You have more endurance. And it sounds like the similar thing here. It's like,
yeah,
you don't
and
really
it's sort
realize.
of that, like I think you hit on it, like it like becomes your new normal to just feel that way.
That's where I was going with that.
Right, you know what I mean? And then like, and you just think like, oh, this is normal. Like, I should feel this way, right? And then that's the piece that like we open the eyes to so many guys that like, no, like that's not normal.
Right, because everything is warring, like everything in this culture is warring against the human body, right?
Right.
Our stress is like, that takes a toll on our hormones. Our diet does. Those types of things, like, we think about our dads, like my dad would come home from work and just, right? Like, that's not normal. That doesn't have to be normal. Right. You don't know what's possible. You're looking backwards and you're not thinking about, you know, how to be the best version of yourself. And it sounds like that is what you're enabling guys to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I think that's the, you know, it's sort of the stigma, right? There's a couple, you know, if we have the opportunity to hit on today, like there's a couple stigmas that I think are like, you know, common that we're seeing. Like, the first one is that one that we hit on, like the stigma that like we all just should be tired, right?
Right.
Because we all do so much, right? And it's just not true, right? You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing the right things, like mentally and physically for yourself, you can push your body to all sorts of limits and still feel great.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of our goal, right? It's like to get you feeling great and do that in a way that's healthy, right? So like, you know, there's ways to do that are not healthy, right? And we are trying to do that in a way that's clinically proven in a safe environment.
Yeah. And then there's another stigma that we talked about off camera, and that's where every guy's like, I don't need any help. I've got this. Right. And from one dude to another, we don't got it. Like, we're just afraid to ask for help. I think that could come from a generation back, right? Where we're not, we become very proud, and we become very guarded. We don't want to let folks in, but in all reality, that's also not normal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't even tell you. It's like it's interesting. Like especially like in this business, like the guys that come in our doors. You know, there's guys like they'll come in every single week, right? Once they're part of our program, and like I talk to them like week over week, and it's actually like amazing. Like, once as a guy you start kind of getting used to asking for help, and then taking that help and then using that to improve yourself, the results are phenomenal. And then the relationships that you built through that are even more phenomenal.
Well, yeah, I mean,
right?
at that point, they're long lasting. Like that's what part of the reason why I love Nashville so much is that some of those relationships just happen. But yeah, that's a great point. When you can rely on somebody and they really actually help you change your life, man, it's not just about your health at that point. It's about your mental health.
Right.
Right. You're not closed off. You're not closed-minded. You're not putting your guard up unnecessarily. Yeah. So I think it's amazing what you're doing, and I think it's kind of underrated. The life-changing that you're enabling here is underrated. I don't think that we'll really realize the good that's being done. So why don't you take a second and look at that camera, and I want you to tell that guy that is who is afraid to ask for help, who might be feeling some of the things, and I want you to invite them in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say first and foremost, it's normal, right, to not want to ask for help, but we all need help. At the end of the day, it's really up to you, right, to kind of take control of how you feel, right? So my ask of you guys out there is to just take that step, like come and see us. We'll do a free consultation, blood work panel's free, and then just educate yourself, right? You may come in and go through that process and walk away with, you and I both saying like, hey, your levels look great, blood work is awesome, but you know what's not great? Your diet's not great. You know what's not great? Your kind of rhythm in the gym is not great, right? Your consistency in some of these areas is not great, but maybe your hormones are great, maybe your blood work's great, right? And so all you got to do is change some of the lifestyle habits, and you'll feel phenomenal. Other guys come in and it's like, hey, I'm doing all the right things, but I just need a little help because naturally my body isn't producing some of the things that I need. So come in and just educate yourself. That's the biggest ask that I have for you guys.
There you go. Come see an authority in the space. You're in Hendersonville. Where are we at in Hendersonville?
We're in Hendersonville. We're located in the Indian Lakes area. So we're right next to the phenomenal place called the Meat Chop. So come in here, we'll test your blood work, go next door, get a steak, take home with you.
There you go.
That's great. So
was that on purpose?
Yeah, like what are the odds of that, right? It's a great symbiotic kind of relationship. But yeah, we're in Indian Lakes, great area. Lots of other stuff to hit, around here when you come in to see us as well. And love to see you.
Yeah.
So.
Make sure you follow Game Day on Instagram, on all the socials, and you'll find that we tag them in everything we do with the Nashville Fits podcast. You guys have been great studio sponsors, and we really, really appreciate your support. You've helped us share amazing stories over the last year. So if you want to follow them, click below, and you can get those links there. And Cory, it's been great. Yeah. I'm going to have you on a podcast, though, and we're going to talk about your tech history because I want to know. I want to dig deeper into that.
Yeah, we can go deeper. But I can't say enough about Nashville Fit. You guys have been awesome. Terry, it's been great working with you, and it's always a pleasure.
I appreciate you. All right, guys, we will catch you on the next one.
All right.